I was about to do a secondhand trade and the seller had a near perfect manner score. But their chat was strange. They asked about how I was doing first. I got to the meetup spot and they handed me a takeaway coffee first. Then they said there was no rush, take your time and check everything. The item was a small desk lamp and honestly it looked really clean. But on the bottom, there were old tape marks that kept catching my eye. I was about to pay and leave, but they noticed my face right away. They asked if I was okay, and then quietly started listening to my whole mess. When I snapped back, an hour was gone, and we paid at the very end. They just said to prioritize sleep tonight and walked off like it was nothing. Back home, I wiped the lamp down and found a tiny card under the base. It was a volunteer counseling record card, and the tape marks finally made sense. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe. I found what I needed and set up a meetup. But the way they texted felt weirdly familiar. The meetup spot was a small plaza near the station, and I got there early just waiting around. The item looked clean, exactly like the photos. But there was a tiny mark near the handle that caught me. Then the seller walked up, and even with a cap and mask, I knew the vibe before the face. We looked at each other and both froze for a second. Then she offered a 43% discount on the spot. Later it all clicked, it was a new account so I didn't notice. She was moving and just wanted it done fast. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe. I grabbed a free rice cooker and found a bundle of 50,000 won bills after a chat saying 20,000 door drop. So you need to verify fast because holding it can look like theft even if it's a mistake. Right after pickup around 2010, it felt way heavier than a normal cooker. So I removed the inner pot and opened the lid vent cover to check inside. When I checked, an envelope was wedged in there with 10 50,000 won bills under a rubber band. The front said emergency cash, so I snapped the photo immediately for proof. I didn't want it to look like my money, so I counted it fast, 500,000 won total. Then I messaged them, and in 3 minutes they replied asking if there was an envelope inside. So we met at 21 house in front of a nearby convenience store, and I handed the envelope over as is. They said it was moving day emergency cash and showed a chat screenshot as proof. The unexpected part is they told me to keep the cooker, and they wouldn't take it back. Cause was forgotten emergency cash in the lid pocket, and I closed it by returning it fast. Tip is to check 2 hidden spots and film 10 seconds. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe. Yesterday I bought a used phone for 180,000 won, and the gallery was packed with a stranger family photos. If the reset is incomplete, your account can get tangled too, so you need to check right away. Right before the meetup, the seller messaged it is reset already. So I opened settings and went straight to accounts, and a stranger email was still signed in. So I tapped the info button in the gallery, and one photo had a timestamp no 1/19/21:43. That meant it was not just leftovers, the phone came over basically as someone was using it. When I checked storage, there was an item called previous installation files taking 1.1 GB. So I sent the seller 2 screenshots showing the signed in account and the photo's still there. In the end, the seller reset it but never signed out. So the photos came back through sync and I canceled the deal and returned it. Next time, verify no accounts and the first setup screen before you pay. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe. I opened a resale delivery box and lib bugs came out. It was an 18,000 won deal. So I expected a scam, saved the chat line saying, stored in a warehouse, and kept the screenshot. The tracking screen said, delivered 1312, so I lightly cut the tape on my dining table. When I checked, a few tiny insects were moving, so I sealed the whole box in a bag and photographed it. Next, I zoomed in on the side label. The print date was 2020-40-16 down to 3, clearly visible. That pointed to long storage, so I also checked the silica gel color, which had already turned pink. So I messaged the seller at 13:55 and they replied it sat in a basement storage for 6 months. As proof, they sent a storage photo and I could see a small humidity warning sticker on the corner. I called building management. The note they texted back said freeze 48 hours, then discard packaging. I filed a refund within 24 hours of delivery, then sealed and tossed the packing materials right away. In the end, it was a damp, long-stored cardboard box, and I wrapped up the deal with photo-based refund. Tip: open boxes outside first, then check the label date and any storage notes before bringing them in. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe. It was a 70,000 won used phone, and the seller said only in front of the police station. So I checked the chat first because a bad meetup can waste your whole evening. So I suggested moving just 100 meters to a nearby cafe at 7 p.m., but the reply was rigid, exit 2 in front of the main CTB 720 sharp, 720. I showed up anyway, and the item still had a half-peeled asset sticker reading 014. When I tried to photo the serial, the seller rushed me and kept pushing for cash only. So I walked inside and asked the front desk if a private meetup here was okay. There was a posted notice saying no waiting unless you have business, and when I stepped back out, the seller was gone. When I checked, the bulletin board said entrance control from 18,000 for an investigation request. My screenshot time was 1918, so it lined up a little too perfectly with that meetup obsession. In the end, it looked like bait timed with the entrance control window, so I canceled the deal and blocked the account. Tip: if a seller insists on only one spot, ask for an indoor public place. If they refuse, walk away. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe. I bought a resale luxury bag and the warranty card date was my exact birthday. If that date is wrong, returns and authenticity checks can get messy fast. So 20 minutes before meeting, I screenshotted the chat first. The seller had texted, handing it over today right away. When we met, I laid out every item one by one. The dust bag looked new, but the warranty date 013 popped up again. So I asked right away, is this date the actual purchase day? The seller paused and said it was a birthday note written on the card. Then their profile photo on the phone felt oddly familiar. I checked my class album, and it was the same face from high school. In the end, the birthday date was there because they wrote a gift memo on the warranty card. And I finished the deal by noting the real purchase date in my receipt note. Next time, save a photo of the card date and the chat screenshot together. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe. If someone says I am coming now and shows up in 1 second, check location first. Rush meetups can mix scams with simple misunderstandings. Here's what happened. The message came at 1948 and the doorbell rang at 1948 9A. I screenshotted the chat and reread the meetup line. My first check had 2 steps. Search the chat for building and unit hints. Then confirm the lobby notice that says meet on the 1st floor. The result was clear. The chat already said, I live right next to you. The doorbell lock showed only 1 ring at 1948,001, so it was not someone tailing me. I still did a second check. I texted, let us meet at the shared entrance before I open. When they answer with a specific unit like next to 309, risk drops fast. The reason was simple. They were my next door neighbor, so the travel time was basically 1 second. I solved it with a chat screenshot and a shared entrance meetup, and the tip is to ask for a 1-line building and line detail. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe. The free giveaway required me to sing 1 song. If the condition changes on-site, you waste a trip, so screenshot it. The post time was 18:12 and it said, sing 1 song, 20 seconds. I asked in chat if 20 seconds was really fine, then saved the reply. Pickup was set for 1930 and I suggested a busy, well-lit spot. When they confirmed, I left a location checkmark and saved that message too. On site, my memo recording hit 023 while I sang just the chorus. Right after, they handed me a bag with 3 extra items added in. At home at 21,005, it was 1 main item plus 2 snacks, 1 hand warmer, and 1 sticker. I took 5 photos and saved them as a simple inventory list. They just wanted to see if I would keep my promise, and I finished clean by screenshotting the condition first. Tip: keep 2 proof shots and meet only in a bright public spot. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe. Today is a resale story where the buyer sent 5,000 won before checking. If you skip verification, refund fights start fast. 3 minutes into meeting, I turned on a quick chat capture for the order request. I made sure the screen clearly showed 5,000 won. But the buyer froze the moment they saw it, like something clicked. They stared at a tiny sticker code A17 inside the case. We verified it in 2 steps, matching the photo date 2024, 11/02 and the A17 sticker. Their lost note even marked the same scratch spot. Turned out someone had listed the buyer's old lost item for resale. We saved the screenshots and the transfer log, then canceled on the spot. Tip: do a 10-second check before any payment. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe. I sold a used stroller and the buyer arrived in a luxury sedan. Moments like this often create misunderstandings, so checking facts matters. At first, I wondered why someone like that would buy secondhand. So I rechecked the chat messages and the meetup details. The chat showed condition checks and careful price negotiation. That record explained why secondhand was a rational choice. When we met, they asked in detail about usage time and maintenance. It clearly showed a habit of careful spending. In the end, the difference was not income but spending standards. Focus on value and need, and anyone can do the same. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe. If the tracking shows it was checked at 4:43 a.m., recheck the seller's story first. Ignore it and your money gets stuck. Here's the setup. The seller said it shipped at 11 p.m. and the price was 48,001. But there was no shipping notification. I checked in 2 steps. I opened view history on the tracking page and took a screenshot. It clearly showed 4:43 a.m. with 1 view. That result was weird because I was asleep then. If it says 1 view, someone else opened the tracking before me. So I did a second check. I looked for accepted and picked up in the tracking details. If both are blank, it's likely a tracking-only fake shipment. The cause was a tracking-only delay tactic, and I filed a dispute with 2 screenshots. Tip: save the view history first before any back and forth. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe. I bought a used tablet, and the moment it booted, Find mode was on. If you missed this, refunds and proofs get messy fast. First check takes 2 steps. Screenshot the setup message locked to owner, then capture the serial number page right after. Then you get a clear result. If it says this device is linked to an account, it's usually an account removal issue, not a hardware one. If it's second check is a quick message right after the deal. Ask the seller to remove this device from Find remotely and send a completion screenshot. Keep proof of the outcome too. After removal, reboot, and the lock message disappears and the Find toggle shows under your own account. Cause was simple. The seller forgot to unlink the account. Fix it by removing the device remotely, then redo setup. Tip: finish the first setup screen on the spot. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe. 9:10 at night, the 35,001 deal got cancelled. I immediately saved a screenshot of the chat. The excuse felt vague, so I verified it twice. I captured the profile and the meetup message side by side as proof. Next morning at 9, the new hire email arrived. The roster showed a familiar nickname and my stomach dropped. I did not want a false match, so I checked properly. I compared the item title in my screenshot with the seat list at orientation. At the first day greeting, that person stood right in front of me. I avoided the resale topic and kept it strictly work polite. The cause was simple, the deal was private, while work is public. I archived the screenshots, blocked the chat, and my tip is always leave a record. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe. I saw my room in the background of a resale photo, so I knew I had to check it right away. Since it was posted at 21:14, I first checked my recent gallery photos. I found a desk photo saved at 21:13, taken from the exact same angle. So I opened the home router log and checked the device list at that time. My sibling's phone was connected at that time, and they admitted posting it without my permission. That's all for today's story. We'll be back every day with a new one. If you want to catch tomorrow's story too, please like and subscribe.